All right, so last class we talked about surface area and in different shapes. These two shapes, look at them for a sec and try and figure out why we can't just do surface area right away. The reason is we're missing information. If we were going to do, let's say the circumference of this one, or the surface area rather, we have the height, great, we have the radius, cool, but we don't know the circumference, that distance around the circle. We have to figure it out. Same with this question right here. It tells us that we have the base and the height and the length, awesome, all important, but I don't actually know how long these two sides are. They're unknown. So we're gonna have to figure them out. There's different strategies for each, so we're gonna go through the steps. It's all material you've done before. We just need to refresh it a bit. I think that the circle one is actually easier, the cylinder, so let's do that first. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna find the surface area, just like we did before. So I'm gonna think of my pictures. So I have my circle, my rectangle, and my other circle. So we'll call that C and R. So it's 2 times the circle plus the rectangle. I'm gonna find my circle area. Circle equals pi r squared. I have these numbers. This is no problem. This is all review. And 50.24. Cool. That's not the hard part. The hard part's r. Because to do r, we need length times width. I have the length, that's 8, but the width I don't have. The width is the circumference, this distance around the circle here. So we need to use the formula for circumference. The circumference formula, okay, circumference is equal to d times pi. D is diameter. Okay, so remember diameter is the distance all the way across. So diameter in this case would be 8 because it would be twice as far as the radius. So 8 times 3.14. So when I put that in the calculator, we get 25.12. That is going to be our width of the circle. The distance around the edge, that's going to give us the width, that circle right there, or that rectangle. So let's put the number in, times 25.12. That gave me 200.96. So we put these in our equation, 2 times 50.24 for the two circles, plus 200.96 for the rectangle. I got 301.44 centimeters squared. So just be careful. If there's a question where you don't have the circumference, and a lot of them they won't give it to you, you need to figure it out using the circumference formula. Let's move this one to the bottom so we can do it. This one's tough because we don't have this length of the side here. We know these two sides are the same, but I don't actually know what it is. So I'm going to draw a little picture here of that front triangle so we can use this. Okay? They did something that's kind of helpful for us. They told us the height of the triangle is 3. We know it's 8 along the bottom. We know these two are the same, and we know we can make a right angle by splitting it in half. So very first thing I want to do, because I split them in half, I know that this side will be 4 and 4 because it's cut in half. Okay? The second thing we got to do, we got to figure out this missing side. To do that, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. This, as you'll probably remember, is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is the special rule that only works in right angle triangles, and c is always that hypotenuse, the longest side that's across from the right angle. So when we look at this question, oh, it's set up pretty nice. This 3 would be this side, 4 is here. This is hypotenuse. That's c. So let's fill in the numbers in our equation so we can find the answer. So a will be this side and b will be this side. So 3 squared plus 4 squared is equal to c squared. So 9 plus 16 equals c squared. 25 equals c squared. Cool. And then remember, we want just c. So to get rid of c squared, we square root both sides. 5 is equal to c. Great. So now in my original picture, I can actually write, oh, they're both 5. They're 5 on that side. Whoa, that was messy. 5 there and 5 there. Now that I have that number, I can actually do the rest of the triangle. It's not very hard to find the surface area. That was the new step that you didn't have, using Pythagorean. So what I would suggest is that you write this formula and the other one we did, the circumference formula, onto your formula sheets for the area so that you have them so you can reference them. Anyway, let's finish the rest of this question. So we have all the numbers now. So the first thing I always do is draw my diagram, my net, so I can figure out what's going on. Okay, so I know this is 3, this is 5, 5, not that important, and 8 along there. I know it's 12 here because that's how long it is. That triangle is the exact same. That'll be T, that'll be T, they're the same. Then the two rectangles on the side, they're 12 along that side, but then this side is not going to be 8, it's going to be 5 because that piece touches there and that piece touches there. So I have my shapes. This will be, we'll call this B for base, and then we'll call this S for side. Okay, so my surface area of the whole thing is going to be 2 of the triangles added together plus the base plus the 2 side triangles, 2 side rectangles. Now let's figure out the actual numbers. So triangle area is equal to base times height over 2. Let's put in our numbers. So the base here is 8. The height here is 3 over 2. So we got 24 over 2, 12. Then we're going to figure out, what is it? The base. So base is a rectangle, so it's length times width. When I look at my diagram here, I have 12 and 8. So 12 times 8. So that's going to be 96. Nice. And then the last one is the side triangle, or rectangle, I'm sorry. This one right here. Again, it's length times width. And when I look, it's 12 and 5. So 12 times 5, that's 60. So now I'm just going to take these numbers and put them into the equation for T, B, and S. So we're saying the surface area of the whole thing is 2 times the triangles, which is 12, plus the base, which was 96, plus 2 of the sides, 60 each. That gives me 24 for the triangles, 96 for the base, 120 for the side triangles. Rectangles, oh my gosh. And then we'll find our final answer. So it's going to be 240. Good, double check. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yep. And then we need our units, centimeters squared, because it gave us centimeters in the question. So let's recap briefly. When we had a cylinder where we didn't have the circumference, we had to figure it out using the formula. We figured it out. If we have a triangular prism where we don't have a side, that means we got to use the other Pythagorean to figure it out.